You cannot handle this intellect. Hey, you cannot handle this intellect. You cannot handle this intellect. You cannot handle this intellect. Dimension of birth.
Yo, I'm co-host here, your favorite guy, son. This is Chill.
Yeah, I am Big Lee. It's your boy Big Taylor, AK-47. It's your boy.
Oh my goodness. Fatherhood at its finest.
It's like how we gonna pivot this? All right, look. Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna just say my standpoint of fatherhood on the phase of just I'm gonna say dating while I was dating as I say like single father.
When you were a single father.
As a single father, what that looked like. So the standpoint for me was just, I got all girls, so attracting a woman that actually either had kids or understood what it was to be a parent, or be able to facilitate, meaning like just knowing they part in the role, coming in and adding value to what I already had.
Was it hard? Do you think it was hard? Like dating as a single father, at least from what I hear, a lot of guys are like, nah, I got ample opportunity. It doesn't really slow them down on the dating scene. As I guess our counterparts for single mothers, it seems like it can slow them down possibly on the dating field. Do you think that it slows the fathers down less or more?
I think that just made me more appealing and more attractive to to women. The fact that I was an active father in my kid's life, I would say that the only difference came in was just the discipline part. Like, I mean, everybody raised their kids differently, so I would just say that was the only hiccup I could say, was just my parenting aspects when it comes to how I discipline my kids and how my partner may discipline theirs. So that's the only part I can see. But I ain't had no issues. I attracted women that had kids or was wanted to have kids. So I ain't had no issues on that part.
Well, it also depends on what you mean when you say slow you down. I mean, I feel like if you're an active father, it do put up some type of obstacles, when it comes down to dating. And I know one of them is just your availability. You know what I mean? So when you active, your availability, especially depending on how many kids you have. I know I have 5 myself, but when you're active, and been depending on the kid's age and what level of school they go to, or whatever activities they're in, it do, create some form of obstacle when it comes down to a single father, trying to date, to some degree.
On that aspect, I would say you just got to be, I would say, flexible in the sense that you just use your time. Use your time wisely. It had to be just an opportunity for you to be able to, hey, my kids got to come with me. You know what I'm saying? So how that looked for me on that end, my kids was with me, full time. So I didn't have a option to be like, okay, they can stay with my parents while I date. In that aspect, I had to bring my kids with me. So if that wasn't an option for them, then I wasn't with that person.
So you was bringing your kids on dates with you?
No,
I'm like, hold on, man. Like,
I mean, let me explain it. So in that dating phase for me, I didn't necessarily. I had my kids on the weekend, so that's most of the time I, spent time with whoever I was dating. I spent time with them on the weekend, so my kids was with me. So whatever that may look like, if we was just doing stuff together, meaning like, yeah, we would do stuff together, meaning like trips to the zoo or museum and all that type of stuff. I would do stuff.
Oh, okay. Together. So you would do things to where your kids will be involved,
like a family date,
entertaining the significant other.
Right.
Like a family date.
Okay, that makes sense.
You think women ever look at you, or I shouldn't say you, but you think women are looking at single fathers and like, man, he's so fertile. I just really want to get with him because he looked like he got it on him. He must be that fertile. You know what I'm saying? You ever think they look at men like that? Because you kind of look at a woman and be like, man, she got some hips on her. And biologically, we're attracted to women with hips or derriere because it looks like they can carry a child. That's really why. So
Bear children.
okay. Well, I'm just saying biologically that is an attraction for men because you're trying to see if she can bear children. So you kind of attracted to that specific body part. So I wonder if women look at that and like, man, he fertile. Look at all those baby mamas or anything like that.
Nah,
Got to get some of that seed.
that look like they'd be trying to get away from you. Like he too fertile. I don't.
Right.
He gonna get me pregnant. I'm gonna be next.
But to the topic as far as is dating while a quote unquote single father is hard. For me, I would have to say it's something in between. I don't know, and maybe it's just because of the way I like how you just explained how you operated. I operated differently, right? So for me, no matter what situation I was in, like my daughter came like first, so I would like cancel dates. You know what I'm saying? If it would just so happen that it was my week or weekend to have my daughter, then you know what I'm saying that
But-
date was like
Right. So it did create
Yeah.
some type of obstacle.
Yeah.
You know.
you know what I'm saying, and I guess you know what I'm saying maybe I could have like did certain like how you just said you would pick a certain date that would like that you can incorporate your daughters in. Like for me, I didn't do that. Like I just canceled it. Like I can't go today. I got my daughter, so I don't know if that was like a bad thing for me to do or operate in that nature. But
I was on
That's
that
how I
same type of
did it.
time.
yeah,
No, it makes sense. I get that viewpoint because I would say that a lot of people think in that way. Like, what's the sense of involving your kids with somebody that you may not be with for real, or you may
Exactly.
not be serious? So why you even letting your kids meet these people?
exactly.
They want to get in front of that rock early though. You see how they interact. We talk about vetting and how do they, if you want to be with this person, how do they act around children or can they mother, and do they have any, signs that they just not nurturing? You kind of get that understanding early in before you find it out later, and then it's a real problem. So you want to get it out kind of early. Yeah, and even vice versa, I think with the ladies, when you're dating or courting someone who is a single mother and you're a single father, I know that dynamic has to. It's a lot of communication involved. Both people have to be on the same place. The- You know, I don't know how that goes. Like I've yet to experience that, but I hear stories all the time. And one thing I can say is it seems like everyone kind of has their own agenda and no one's really getting in alignment on that. So it's like the ball being tossed on both sides of the court with that.
I would say it's like that because you don't. A lot of people are not cordial and they are not mature in that. In that sense, to just be like, okay, I realize that we didn't work out, and we gonna date other people, and they gonna be around our kids, like so on and so forth. Like whether you had that conversation or not, but just be mature enough to be like, we both have moved on.
What I can say is, I mean, you're right. But what I can say, I think that's an extremely difficult conversation to have to where, individuals will be on the same accord when it comes down to co-parenting. I mean, it's a lot of feelings that get involved. It's a lot of underlying issues that hasn't been resolved, in between the ex, and the single male figure. And you can have those conversations, and women, since they thrive off emotion, it's very hard, I would say difficult at times to, push that stigma, to them to where they're willing to accept the fact, okay, it's another woman in my kid's life. And even in vice versa, men do it as well. I've seen it in other cases as well, listening to stories to where some men fall short purposely, because their baby mother is, dating or, have a significant other, and they weaponize their kids like we discussed before. So you can be all for, letting your significant, I mean, your ex know, the new playing field that about to endure, but it still doesn't make the transition a successful, easy transition.
You know what? Me and my wife had discussed that if we had got divorced, what life would look like if we were dating other people. And we both had said, these things change, after the fact, but we both had said consciously we wanted to go into it like, okay, if you're dating, I'm dating. Let's just make sure that we're vetting the right people around our children and we have the right people around them, period. And let's be respectful about it. I would hope that if that ever happened, God forbid, but if that ever happened, that me and her can be adults about that. So I see a lot of ruined friendships between baby mama, baby daddies who used to be friends or used to be cool, cordial, and is ruined because of that child weaponization or the jealousy. Oh, you got with somebody else. Oh, I ain't think you was. I thought you was gonna be open for me. Or whatever. Okay, fine. I ain't coming by. It's take care of them kids. Man, women too. Take care of them kids. You can't go out every Friday, every Tuesday, every Saturday, and not be a mom. You got to do that. That's what we called to do. The moment you have children is the moment your life changes for them. You have to live for them. Everybody be talking about, oh, I die for my kids, but would you live for them? That's the question. Are you giving them the time and your due diligence of effort to pour into them? Or else are you transforming trauma or passing it down? Because you're probably passing it down at that point. And you can heal the inner child in you that was full of trauma or whatever from your upbringing. You can heal that by ministering to your kid. You know what I mean? You heal that part of yourself. So why not take advantage of that?
I know at times, because I had my son, my first child, rather, early on, and I wasn't where I needed to be mentally, financially, and I do feel like he got jaded throughout the years as I, was bearing other children, so I did have that conversation with him, and explain to him, it was a mistake on my part, but I wouldn't take anything away from it. But even with that being said, with women out here doing the same thing, it was always, presented as, women, and men have this mindset to where their life stops when they have kids. And there's so many people out here trying to prove that it doesn't, But then as I compare, my youngest child to my oldest child, and I see how he was jaded and how much more I'm involved with my youngest child than, when he was growing up, because I was still trying to get myself together. It wasn't that I was running the streets or anything, but I wasn't mentally where I needed to be, to actually take care of him and teach him, and mold him and do things, with him.
It was a child having a child.
Yeah, pretty much, and so now, that I have reached, I have reached a certain age and maturity level to where I know how much sacrifice actually goes into, having kids and being involved and, listening to stories from school and helping with homework and a whole bunch of other extracurricular activities, even just rides to the store with your kids, picking things up. It's like, it's so heavily involved to where the littlest things that you cut short, you kind of feel jaded. And I understand everybody gets tired, especially as parents, we need our time. But, when you, like you stated, when you sacrifice that, or when you have children, it's like, you gotta sacrifice that time. You know what I mean? Like is no ifs, ands, buts about that. Like you're gonna cut your life off to some degree for your kids.
Sure thing.
Yeah, sacrifice. It is. Did you want to touch it? No? Okay. Hey, but I'm glad you said that, because if we take a moment in time and look at it, that one of the studies conducted was saying that our grandfathers used to spend approximately 2.5 hours a week with their children, right? Or that generation. Nowadays, this society, men are spending 3 times that amount with their children. And that's just on average. So that's at least about from 2.5 to about 8 hours we're spending now per week with our kids. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that shows men have been moving in a positive trajectory on spending time with their children. And then if we tap into that again and say, well, according to the CDC, black men are the most active fathers out of all, and that's out of the mouths of the so-called women that bear their children. So we know for a fact if 8 hours has been the average on regular now, we know black men are putting in even more so time than that to be the most active out of everyone. And with that, I would ask black women this question. Is this the standard now? Is this now, if for men or for fathers, that black men, all of the extra efforts that are being put in from domestic labor, which cooking, cleaning, things like that, parenting, which co-parenting, instruction of children, behave, reading bedtime stories, put them in the bath, all these kind of things. If now that we have shown and demonstrated collectively as a group that we are doing this type of stuff, and that's kind of average for us now, is that the standard for women? Ladies, is that what you think? Like, it's not even extra no more. Do you look at it as extra, or now it's like, if he ain't doing at least that, he a bum?
Exactly. And that's true. And I feel like it's the new standard, whether they want to say it or not. Because I was told, I was told that what I was doing as a father, you want a cracker? Probably want a cracker because you being a dad, you a great dad. But you want a pat on your back. I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of
Yup.
dads out here ain't being dads,
Right.
So yeah, probably want his cracker. Give me my cracker.
The whole tray.
Right. So I believe, it's being transitioned as a new norm. And since it's being transitioned as a new norm, it's like it's looked at as like, you're gonna do that, and you're gonna provision and provide, and you're gonna pay these bills and take care of these kids, So
I mean, it can be looked at as a new norm, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, what lacks with it being a new norm is the appreciation of it, right? So, like you say, like you want probably want a cracker, like you want a cookie for being a good dad, and it's like, at some point, to some degree, yes, I do want to feel appreciated for being the type of father that I am, because you know what I'm saying, it's not a lot of us that can that can bear that with pride, or whatever the case may be. So and majority of the time we want that appreciation from the mother of the child, right? All of y'all at the table can say, like, can look at the next individual and say, that's a good father, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be. Even a woman that you with, or whatever, or family members, you know what I'm saying, can tell you that you're a good father, but you still want to be appreciated from the child's mother, because that's ultimately who reaps the benefit of you being a good a good dad.
Right. Ultimately, it's the child, but indirectly,
right? That's what I'm saying. So
that was a question I had running through my mind, because it seems like that is the norm. I mean, I can even remember a conversation with my wife, and this was years ago, and it's like, okay, you provide, but I mean, like, I still need help around the house. And I used to be like, so hold on. I know I'm helping around this house. Like, I'm getting home late from work. I'll sweep up the kitchen here and there, move some toys around, straighten up, tidy up, whatever you want to call it. Ain't like I ain't never cleaned the toilet before.
it's just never enough.
I can remember like, well, could you cook more at the house? And I'm like, I'm picking up food some days. You ain't even got to cook. Or if I do cook some, it's like, well, this ain't really that great. It's like, hey, I'm paying bills 10 toes down. It's like, I know I'm doing that for sure. Ain't no half stepping on that. And then I am helping. But I think one time I got the conversation with her was, she was like, no, you co-parent just fine. You co-parent, you there for the kids, you do this and that, taking them to appointments, going to karate with them, all kind of stuff. But it was the domestic labor is where she had to focus on, that I wasn't helping out as much. And that's when I started thinking, like, okay, are we really defining these things? Like, because if you don't ask a clear question, it's like it's all tumbled in one. But being a husband and being a father are two separate roles, but two different hats, but you wear them both. And being that like is a combination of tasks and duties, and we just molding them all together. But if you get real clear and specific with your person, it's like, what do you expect me to do as your man? What do you expect me to do as the father of these children, so I can make sure and kind of measure what's going on here, or so everything's not convoluted, because then you'll turn around and you could be sucking at being her man, but the way she say certain things, it would sound like you're a bad dad. And that's why I say you kind of got to ask questions and separate the two so that don't happen. Because it was
that definitely makes sense. So with that being said, it's like what what do we need as men for our woman to know, like what type of mindset that put us in, just understanding those different roles that we have to implement or whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to fail, and the way that my father failed me was the catalyst for me not to fail my children. So I let my wife know, like, what is it, as far as being a father that is needed or that you think is needed, because they don't fully know either what it is to be a father or what to expect. Because let's keep it honest, most of the Black community, children out of wedlock, and coming from the generation prior to us, there was a lot of fathers missing. Now that's debunked. Ladies, that's done. That's debunked. Just so y'all know, that's not true anymore. Fathers are in the homes way more than average. So I'm tired of hearing people saying, oh, well, dads not dads, they not around. That's false. Check the stats. Fathers are well in the home, especially in the Black communities now. Okay, what is it? 54% of Black fathers don't have children. More than half the guys don't even have kids. Let's start there. And then for the Black fathers that do have kids, on average, they're having them in their 30s around the time they get married. So this whole baby daddy thing, this whole baby daddy thing is done. Okay, that's you talking about roughly 18% of the at least Black fathers in the community. 18% with this baby daddy thing. All right, let's knock it off.
On top of that, we all understand that baby daddy is not a title that we take on. Period. So same way we understand women don't want to take on that title as a baby mother. So we not even go talking that way. We not even go put that type of disrespect on each other. We gonna call it what it is. We are parents. We are fathers. We are, mothers. That's how we gonna address it.
You a mom, Jay?
So what are some of the adversities that you all are faced with, whether it's co-parenting or just being a father inside the home, dealing with some of your
sleep
kids? That's a big one.
Sleep, fool guy. I'm sleepy. I do not get enough sleep at all. It's been at least a 5-year run for me and my wife, with the 5-year-old now and the little mama about to be 3. I ain't had no sleep. Okay, I sleep maybe 4 to 5 hours, maybe 6 on a good day. I don't get enough sleep. My workload is already 40 hours or more, and then you got everything else you got to do. Me and my son go to karate, and then whatever else ventures that I got going on, and the other 2 children, what they need out of dad, papa, and then what does my wife need out of bae? Yeah. I mean, you gotta you in your women, they want attention, so you got to give them that. They want understanding, they want emotional security, reassurance. That's all. Like, you gotta have a playbook for those things for them.
Everybody, somebody got to take an L.
somebody gonna come up short.
It's gonna be some sacrifice. Everybody got to make sacrifices.
Really, it seemed like, and I think Keith, you mentioned this. It seems like we really got to have a collective schedule as far as our day to day. Because if we don't, everything that needs to be done is gonna need to be done all that same, all on that same day. Like, I got to put everything together. Yard work, house work. The roof in the fall, whatever. Car needs to be fixed, gas in the car, whatever it is. I got to do it all the day. So if we want to be intentional about, everything that we got, as far as what our day to day is, something ain't gonna get done.
Proper planning prevents
Like,
poor
straight up,
performance. Yeah, you really do have to sit down with your person, and y'all have to like collectively come up with a schedule. Like, hey, if they're working too, which Most couples now are everybody's working in this day's economy. Most couples are egalitarian anyway. Typically with the man making more money. So just to throw that out there too, because y'all this 50-50 conversation, it still don't be 50-50, but go ahead, go off. Back to it. You know, you have to come together, make a plan, make a schedule. People typically working 5 days a week, whatever that schedule is. Y'all work on somebody working sunrise, somebody working nights. Kids gotta go to school, they gotta get picked up. If they at least 7 years old, maybe older, they got extracurricular activities at that point. You know, so hey, somebody gotta do it. If somebody gonna be outside the house, somebody gotta be inside the house, or else the inside the house is gonna fall. And I know me and my wife used to talk about this all the time. I used to say the house come first. So if it's well, we got to go to grandma's or we got to go do this, the house come first. Because if the house not right, if the house fall, everybody life is messed up. Simple as that. So make those schedules.
Yeah. It sounds very meticulous when you say that, like, make those schedules, have those conversations, especially when you're under one roof with your significant other. It's like, why we just can't go with the flow, type of thing. And I mean, it seems that way. And I'm not sure on average how many people are having these conversations with their significant other, far as scheduling time and whether it's me time or whether it's together time, whether it's family time with the kids, individual, time with the kids. I don't know how many, I don't know on average how many people is actually having these conversations, but until someone falls short or until something is lacking, whether it's the kids' grades, whether it's the level of intimacy, then, the house gets disrupted to some degree. And then we take that time to whether argue or debate it out at that point. But then that's the point of having a conversation to avoid, those errors, right?
Look, man, you gotta keep it cool.
My life is go with the flow. But I'm gonna just tell y'all, if that
Oh my
don't
God.
work,
It don't work.
I'm gonna say it again. My life is go with the flow. I'm gonna say it again. That don't work. like legit. If you don't be intentional about what your day is gonna be like, you ain't gonna have energy for nothing else. So you got to start that day, with actually knowing what you're gonna do, at least one thing, and then let it go from there. Like I mean, I believe that in the sense that on my Sundays, I know that I start out by making sure I go to church on Sundays, and if I don't do that, or if I choose to do something else, however the rest of my week may be, it wasn't complete. So I'm just saying that for myself. I don't know, what y'all plans is, but I know if I just keep going with the flow, it ain't working.
Well, the thing is, who's flow at that point? If both people are in the household and you gotta go with the flow mindset, and that flow is whichever which way you want to go, what flow is she on? Is she flowing left and you flowing right? That's gonna cause discourse and chaos. You gotta flow the same direction.
So we'll go back to say provide and protect. That provision for me, if I make sure I go get the word, whether she there or not, at least I got enough to give her. If I don't got it, then we ain't eating. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Or my man G. I'm gonna keep it a buck. No, I'm gonna keep it a bean. If I don't have it for myself, I don't have it for her.
Well, have it to like kind of have that wisdom
Right.
for your vision for that week. Okay, I can definitely understand that. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna kind of segue to back to the adversities of being a father or being a parent, and for the majority of us at this table, we are like fathers inside of a home as well as fathers outside of a home, right? So for me, I don't really want to call it an adversity, but something that I've been struggling with lately is that time spent with your child being not in the household with her.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And the effects of that, and you know what I'm saying, how does that make, you know what I'm saying, as a father feel about, you know what I'm saying, doing that. So but just like y'all said, it's about that planning, right? So when I do get my daughter, right, whether it's every weekend, every other weekend, or whenever I get her, like that time is that time. Like I will flip a table if something comes up that,
Say it was a
that you know what I'm
chance.
saying, that I have to switch up or whatever. Like that shit pisses me off to the core, right? So
he broke character.
so when I have that set time to get my daughter, whatever the case may be, that's what it is for me. So I'm very meticulous about that.
No, we know how you get when it's that time.
Exactly.
Or whatever the case may be, and everything like gets. And I don't know if y'all can tell me if this is a bad thing or not, but everything during that time when I have her like gets shut down. Like I don't care about.
No,
nothing
that's
else.
that's your time.
To an extent. That's you. I mean, I'm not gonna say
value that
you.
time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say you
Exactly.
overdo it because it's understandable. So, I mean, how you do it is how you do it.
You know,
I-
and
I can't imagine if that was me and my kid, and I could only see my child or children at whatever times, twice a week or 3 times. You know, that
mean,
would bear heavy on me.
and to kind of clean that up, it's not like, you know what I'm saying, I'm being restricted on the time that I spend with my daughter. But majority of it is due to work, right? I'm working 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, getting off super late. So that time that I would have throughout the week that I used to have, I really don't have anymore because now she's in, you know what I'm saying, big girl school or whatever the case may be. So she has to be at school at a certain time. So that kind of restricts the time that I may have her through the week. Now, with that being said, I try to make myself available for other things. You know what I'm saying? So whether like if her mom was to call and say, you know, she has some type of extracurricular activities or doctor's appointments or whatever the case may be, like can you take her or whatever the case may be, then I will make room for me to have to do that so I can get that extra time with her and her older sister. So
Yeah, you just took them to the dentist or something. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I just didn't want to make it seem like I'm being restricted to like, no, that ain't the case. But yeah, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so
That's the majority of the adversity because now I want to, you know what I'm saying, spend more time with them, you know what I'm saying, as they get older, you know what I'm saying? I feel as though, you know what I'm saying, that a father figure or, you know what I'm saying,
you steady saying, you know what I'm saying?
and I'm not making myself clear.
No, but you steady saying, you know.
Just move it along, big
No,
homie.
I'm saying.
You getting there. We feel it. We feel it. Just say
I'm
it.
just saying, you know what I'm
Very
saying?
passionate. Very
Yeah,
passionate
you know
about
what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get my words right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we could pass it along. How you feel about it?
No, so some of the I know some like you stated in the beginning that we are faced with adversities with being fathers inside the household and as well as fathers outside the household. So one of my adversities is exerting myself and dividing my time up, you know, in a different household so I could be somewhat effective over there without
Okay,
trying
yeah.
to delegate and
That's the
run,
word,
you know,
effective.
Talking to
that
the mic,
household, but also try to be just as effective or even more effective in my household as well,
Mhm.
to where like the kids doesn't feel like they missing out on father time, you
Mhm.
know. But then at the same time, I know we had talked about this, and I had this conversation with my sisters as well, to where like you just have to overexert yourself, you know, and spend that time.
Mhm.
And goes back to the beginning statement that we talked about, which that's the sacrifice. So your life does, you know, cease and stop at some point to where you're delegating all over the place, seems like, you know. So with that being said, I know me and you had a conversation about previously, you know, with exerting ourselves outside the homes without trying to step on the toes, you know, with, you know, the mother of that home or the head of the household over there, you know, when you're disciplining your kids or just having a conversation as they age, you know, and go about things on a day-to-day, what their mom allowed them to do versus what you accept and things of that nature. And I know we have plenty of conversations about that, but it's like trying to structure them to a degree to where you programming them from one way, right, in their household, and then once they get to you, you trying to reprogram them, and depending on how often they come to you, it's just like, whether you effective or not,
It's a
it's like,
constant battle.
yeah, it's a constant battle, like you stated, and you want to be as effective as you are outside the household, as you are inside the household, so that's one of my biggest adversities, is overexerting myself, trying to extend myself, trying to get the kids that's under a different roof, the same type of time as the kids that's under my roof, that, and I know it's impossible because they live with me, to some degree, but just trying to be effective in that area as far as being a father.
So what I had to add to that is that you can't do it by yourself. So I realized you can't do it by yourself. It's going to take both of the parents, or all four of the parents, however many parents is involved. It's going to take all of y'all to be on. I can't say completely be on the same page, but just be willing. If you're not willing, then you're not going to see no effects between what you do at your house and what they do at their house, and however time is spent between the both. It's not going to be effective if nobody is willing to at least allow that to happen. And so for me, I experienced a whole summer without seeing my kids, and my oldest girl is 12 years old. So I went a whole summer without spending time with them because they didn't like the structure or foundation that was going on in my house, which is something that they always had, and which was something that I always had to restructure them regardless of however long they was with me, So just getting to that place, and what that looked like for me is me and my wife both sitting down with all four of our kids. So we have four kids, four girls in total. I have three from a previous marriage, and my wife has one from a previous relationship, just to bring y'all into the conversation. But we had to actually sit down and have a conversation with all four of the girls and get them to understand what we expect from them, the structure that we have for them, and how we supposed to move forward with whatever adversity we may have, whatever disagreements we may have, whatever that may look like. The only way we're going to be able to get to the solution is if we able to sit down and have these type of conversations. And we had a breakthrough. So I'm telling y'all, just based on my own experiences, if you do not have those adults and collective that's willing, you will not get to a breakthrough. You will not, and if you're not even willing to have that conversation, you will not be able to get a solution.
So when is, and I think we had this conversation on another podcast we did. When is that time where if it's not working out and it's for the sake of your children, it's time to go? Or is that what's keeping you there? Keeping you in the relationship, whether you still with the baby's mother or your wife or with your new boo or whatever. When is that push and pull moment to sacrifice for your children? I think, at least from the stories that I hear quite a bit from work and all, a lot of guys stay in relationships a little bit longer, obviously because of their kids. They want to be present for them, and they want to not get what'd you say?
Labeled as a deadbeat.
They don't want to get labeled. They don't want to get screwed over in court. So they're not trying to have those things taken away from them. So they're staying in relationships longer, that they're just like, man, I shouldn't even be with this person at this point. She don't respect me. She don't love me or whatever. But I'm here for children. And I'm wondering, I know women make that same sacrifice, but I don't think they stick in it as long as men do.
What I can say is, it's two sides to the coin, right? Because I have heard to where you stay with the significant other for the sake of the children, and you can't really do that because if you are not bonded and being respectable, it rubs off on the kids in a negative way, so the kids are really benefiting. But then I also heard it on the flip side to where if you're not presenting this right, the battles between you and a significant other in front of the kids, or they can't feel the tension of how you are not really getting along, y'all just pretty much suffering in silence, to where they still reap a benefit because you still there. So your structure is still there as a man, the mother nurturing aspect of it is still there, versus being separated and we going through that reprogramming stage to where, well, I can do so much over here, whether it's because it's not two parents in the household versus, what my father, allows me to do over there, whether it's not two parents in the household, right? So it's like that coin. So when you ask, when is that time up to be like, what, hey, I'm done. Let the kids suffer. I'm just playing, but when you say when that time is up and you be like, okay, so how are we gonna move forward when we know this is not working out for us, whether the kids are benefiting or not. I really feel like it boils down to you having a conversation with the children until the children understands, because they're going to be affected about it behind the separation regardless. But until they get to a point of understanding on what's going on, and like you said, you sit down and you have that conversation like, okay, this is not working out. And I know this may sound weird to a lot of, relationships, but if this is not working out, me and your mom decided we're going to separate. It doesn't mean that, I'm not going to be there for you. I'm not going to love you. But I think when they get to a point to understand that, right, then you can probably break loose without it hindering the kids in a negative way. Like I said, any separation is going to be tainted the kids because you're just not there anymore. And if they're waking up to you every day, seeing you, whether you cooking, providing, giving them words of encouragement, whatever the case may be, they gonna miss that. But it's having the conversation and letting them know, I'm still here for you. And I think until they understand that is, when it's legitimately okay to, separate, despite how you feel.
I think that's just going to be an ongoing conversation that you're going to have regardless. And the only reason why I say that is because
All of this
the
is,
same,
communication, man.
yeah, it's the same way. Like if you lost a loved one, whether that was sister, sibling, whatever, or husband, wife, whatever that dynamic was, some people that really actually want to get through that would have to go to like separation counseling, because no matter how long that time was, you still look for that person. So you would have to constantly go through some sort of counseling because you will always expect to be around this person because that's what you know. So if that changes, how do you get through it? I need to talk about these things. I need to understand what happened and what went wrong. And that's the only way you'll be able to go through it. So that's going to be an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, I know it sounds so quick for everybody to say, man, F those kids or F those feelings, and the feelings don't matter. We got to do what we got to do. But feelings do matter to an extent. Mental health is crazy because that is what's going to dictate. That's where your decisions come from. That's what's dictating what path you going down or navigating through your life when it comes to situations like this, staying or going in a relationship with children, or just parenting, period, and trying to heal your child, heal the inner child inside of you, and parent them at the same time while still being a stellar boyfriend or stellar husband. You're still trying to do those things as well, and that does, man. I think you can even Google it. It'll tell you like relationships take a hit when you do have children, just because there's another one there. There's someone else there now that needs attention, full on attention, support, and all kind of things. I mean, I know for me and my wife, our intimacy took a hit just because we didn't readily have the time to like date a lot, from minimal support here and there, because grandmas and grandpas, they all still working. They not even retired no more, you know what I mean? They just now getting retired, but we about 12 years in now, so it's like, it's when you said earlier, it takes 4 parents or however many parents. It takes a village. The village has been broken, but it's not dead. It just need a little breath of life. We need to come back to it. And really, I mean, because it's gonna take everybody to raise children: dad, mom, uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, cousins, brother, sister. You can go through your life and think about how many people you were affected by growing up, that changed your diaper or watched you while the parents went outside to do whatever parents do. So it's like it takes an entire village to do that, and we need to make sure that that village is back, and strong at that. And I think for a lot of men, that idea is there because that's part of protection. So I think we're trying to do that on a very wide scale as far as protect within the community, and even like even within our group. I mean, kids go and spend the night at other each house. You know what I mean? So it's like we do that. To whatever extent. Oh, your daughter over here with my daughter, or your daughter over here, or whatever. So it's like, where's the complaints really coming from that these things aren't being done? And then I would say, if there is a complaint from the women, like, well, who'd you have a baby by? Because there's more guys out here doing this stuff than is really being announced. So that's why I really want to get away from that stereotype and stigma that men aren't out here protecting children that ain't theirs. What? Yes, we are. What are you talking about? Men aren't out here taking care of their kids. What? Yes, we are. What are you talking about? Where y'all get this from? We're defying odds every day while being chased by the police. You know what I'm saying? I thought we was gonna get pulled over on the way here. So I don't know where y'all getting this stuff from. We're out here. We're strong, and I definitely commend a lot of brothers, even brothers that it seem like they still got their head in the streets to an extent. I see them take pictures with their kids. I see them with them, where they talking about them all the time. And let me not even say pictures, because people are, oh, pictures don't matter. People can lie. Yeah, that's true. I see brothers taking videos. It's in their stories, and I mean consistent with their kids. So again, what are y'all talking about? Who's not being the parent? Remember, it's only about 18% of those men. We did the numbers already. Numbers been done. It's only
I think for that, you know what I'm saying, people can only talk based off, you know what I'm saying, their experience, right? So if you line up a group of women or whatever the case may be, and they're talking about majority of their experiences with their child's father or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, 9 times out of 10, it's the deadbeat or whatever. So we have to get to a point to where we start, you know what I'm saying, marketing, on advertising, or talking about more, or putting in the forefront, you know what I'm saying, the type of fathers that are there and that are present and that are effective in their childhood. And that will basically be from women, right? We like, it's that camaraderie, it's that, you know what I'm saying, it's that co-parenting relationship that individuals have to have, and it has to be successful, you know what I'm saying, in order for it to be seen as something other than what is being portrayed as.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you gotta get that mouthpiece going in a positive direction.
yeah,
Definitely.
But people so attracted to drama. It's easy to keep a lie going. It's easy to just talk smack, but to sit back and be positive and tell the truth, well, that's hard. But somebody gotta do it. So, ladies, can you do
everybody
that?
want to be great, but nobody want to put the work in.
They got to put the work in, and I think everybody at this table is putting the work in, and I think that there are more fellas than that I know of specifically, but the numbers show this. They're doing it. They are putting the work in. Again, nowadays we working harder and longer and making more money than our grandfathers was. We spending more time with the kids. I think it was another study even showing about diaper changes. Like, we're changing more diapers than our grandfathers ever did. But then everybody keeps saying, man, I need y'all to be like your grandfathers. What? We outdoing grandfathers. What are you talking about?
Outdoing daddies and grandfathers.
We outdoing them. So what else? Like,
The jobs nowadays even give you off time to spend time with the kid while they before they born, right? What is it called? When
paternity leave?
yeah, you get, but the dads get paternity leave with the
Some
mama.
some jobs, yeah. Some jobs they just now reckon that we're just now being
No.
recognized as parents,
No,
that
when
we
I was-
get time
when
off
I
with
was working
kids.
at the airport, I definitely had paternity leave.
No, but you know what? It's unpaid. It's like unpaid time off.
No, I had paid time.
Nah, man.
I
was
had
paid.
unpaid time.
No, I think mine was
Yeah.
paid.
I saved up vacations and all that and took my
Had to
time with
be.
my
No, I
kids and
wouldn't have
came
took
back.
that.
Right, you'd have to make some sacrifice. Baby, I can either see the baby in the daytime
Had to be.
or the lights gonna be off. Can't see him at night.
I wouldn't have took it.
Yeah.
No, man, we out here, man, and I think we doing a lot better than what is being portrayed. But yeah, man.
So and here's the other thing too. because I know the ladies see this, they say it out loud, but I know women see this, and that's why they okay with, to an extent, sharing somebody's baby daddy. So I'd say this, ladies, let's keep it real. Let's keep it a G, okay? If you are okay with that,
Let's talk
then
about it.
if you're okay with that, then why, when I see things talk about like poly relationships and things like that, it's such a pushback. Like, let's be honest. If you're already doing it in private, you're already doing it. So just admit it's an ego thing for you at that point, because you're doing it. If it's an ego thing, then just say that. If not,
Doing it to what degree?
well, I mean, if I had to throw a hand in this, I'm more for polygyny anyway, because that's marriage. That's a secured relationship between those multiple people. If I had to throw a hand in it, but other than that, I would just say let's just be honest, transparent, and be cooperative and work with each other. I'm seeing, even for the 18% that we talked about, or the quote unquote bad apples or whatever, multiple baby mamas out here, da da da. It's like, okay, ladies, y'all are after the same guy. So why can't y'all collectively come together and share the same guy? Why do y'all have to go tit for tat, weaponize kids against him? You mad at the other woman because she got a baby bomb too? Just come together, 3 incomes in the household, take care of the kids. There go the village right there. Y'all avoiding it. Like, go ahead then.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, this is out here on the forefront of the table. I see it all the time coming down the timeline. If that's what you want to do, I'm just saying, be honest about it. Don't secretly be in the back front, doing it. So that's just an idea.
This
That's
is
just
not a
a thought.
marketing scheme. He is. He is.
He
not
does not
marketing.
speak for all of
Yeah,
us.
it's not-
Hey, I'm
not
just
marketing.
saying,
It's-
just be honest. That's it. That's all. Hey, y'all cannot do it. Okay, stop sharing the same guy.
No, I feel as though to a certain degree, you know what I'm saying, it does fall under the same umbrella as relationship, right? So you have your relationship with your significant other, and then you also have the relationship with your whoever you're co-parenting with, and you still have to feed that positivity just as much as any other type of relationship that you have, right? So if and that comes with communication as well. Like, you got to communicate. A lot of individuals, they feel some type of way still about they ex or child's mother or child's father, to the point to where they can't communicate, and that doesn't do nothing but cause friction between, what I'm saying, whoever you with now, and also with the children, because things are not getting done and not getting done properly, because two individuals who's not mature enough, or one is not mature, or one still has feelings, or whatever the case may be, can't get on the same ground and have positive communication.
They suffering from arrested development, probably. That's why they're immature.
Yeah,
So-
that's why I say you just gotta be willing.
Yeah, but how often do let's just say 4 people, right? Hopefully it's not more than 4, but it may be, right, in today's society. How about the 4 people come to the table, like right here? Hey, I got a kid with you, you got a kid with her, and this is what we all doing. So how we gonna do this co-parenting situation? Okay, I'm off on Mondays.
That's
You
fair.
are off when? All right, it sounds fairy tale, right? But that's the mature thing to do. Where's all the mature people that having kids? Oh, there are none? We just all immature out here just having babies? Come on.
I mean,
now.
I think that I think that world exists 9 times out of 10. It's not the 4 individuals coming to the table amongst themselves. It's probably some type of therapist or a mediator.
No, I believe that it occurs just not at 4 people at the table, but the baby mom talks to the baby dad.
Yeah, it's word of mouth.
Yeah,
it's indirect.
It's a supply chain.
Now,
pretty
everybody
much.
get right here.
You know what I mean? And
Face to face.
She tells her significant other what the baby daddy agreed on, and now he can set his schedule up how, whatever they worked out. Now he falls into place to some degree. And then if he has an outside kid as well, he now talking to his baby mother, about it. So I think it's streamlined that way versus everybody just sitting at a round table having a conversation.
So
yes,
go ahead.
I'm gonna say that if it's negative on either one of those sides, it's going to affect everybody, and it's going to affect everybody even how they communicate, because you only going to give pushback when it's pushback available. And I'm saying that to say that nobody will be able to be on the same page unless that's where they come from. Like, if that energy is what is already there, then you know how to work and maneuver. But you're not even trying to have that conversation with somebody if you already know what it might be like, or if you already know that it will be some type of friction. You like, I'm just gonna I'm a spoon feed this person because I know if I give them too much, they're gonna spit it out everywhere. So it's like looking at that. Hey, it gotta first be there available as in the group period. Like that positive energy has to be there. If it's not there, then you're not gonna know how much you could use that to get what needed done.
Well, I disagree with that, V. So from my understanding of what you stated was that pretty much when you know you got pushback coming because the individual is not willing, to where if you're feeding them or trying to have these conversations, it is not going to be a successful conversation. I feel like, and so what you're stating is that you don't feed them as much, right? You don't have these conversations as frequent as you should. You know, you kind of holding back. Is that what you said?
No, I'm just saying, like, understanding that if I know it's going to be pushback, meaning like if something changes within that dynamic at any point, at any time, I know that they're not going to be willing to flow with the change. They're going to be more so be like, nope, this is all I can do. I'm only gonna do this much because it's something that changed. Now, I get that we have to do what needs to be done because we have to be responsible and mature. But I'm only gonna do this much because
I get what you're saying.
That takes a level of maturity to just be like, okay, whatever needs to be done, I'm gonna meet you there and we're gonna get it done.
Right. No, I get that, but I don't think we should minimize conversations or minimize, whatever we had in place. I mean, something changed, right? And we discussed the change and how it's going to affect. And since we still talking about children, I mean, it still has to get done. Right. Now whether or not it falls on a specific individual a little more heavier than the next, I mean, it still got to get done, and we just have to work out some type of compromise at some point. But if it's all done for the children, whether it's a little more laxed on your end versus a little more heavy on mine, I mean, to some degree, it's not going to stay like this forever because the kid is growing, so whether you got to do it for 6 months or a year to where you're taking on a bigger load of it, do what you got to do. That's your child. I mean,
yeah, but that needs to be identified though.
That definitely,
because it still needs to be in the best interest and fairness of the actual people that's doing it too. Because if my mental is messed up, how can I better take care of the child? And I'm working with a messed up mental because I feel jaded because you on the beach kicking the bobos and I'm always with the kid, and like it has to be some fairness.
It has to be some fairness. I'm not telling you to take advantage of the time. I'm not telling you that, but I'm just saying in a situation to where, let's just say, okay, prime example, we live where we live, right? And the significant other or the ex moved. So now instead of it taking me 15 minutes to pick up my kid, it takes me an hour. So now, based on the time and it has, or what time of day or what day I'm gonna pick them up, it's now an hour. You know what I mean? And that's an hour there, an hour back. So yeah, we have to discuss this change, but the fact that it's just it's an hour, okay, I'll sacrifice that extra 35, 45 minutes to pick them up. Now, mind you, this is minute. That's just an example. But I'm saying it's not like, okay, since it falls on you heavier for whatever duration it is, that I'm utilizing that time to kick it. No, this still your time with your child. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we can discuss it all day, but it's still your time with your child. I'm not putting more time on you to have to have the kid, and I'm relinquishing my time so I can go kick it. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's still your time. You're still getting the same time. It's just you may have to do a little more to either get her, or, you may have to keep her an extra day, or something like that. But no.
Yeah, I mean, and to even speak a little direct in that, I drive an hour and 20 minutes to pick my kids up every other weekend. I pick them up and drop them off. So that's what I got to do to spend time with my kids. So I'm going to speak strongly about that. Hey, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, that ain't an hour and 20 minutes there and back, and there ain't no meeting point. So whatever it is that look like during the time you're supposed to get them, hey, you got to do what you got to do, or you ain't going to see your kids. How am I help? I should not be helping you to see your kids unless that was what was arranged. Yeah. But if it changed at any point, hey, do you want your kids?
Right.
I'm going to do what I got to do to get my kids. So that's the part right there that you can't avoid having a conversation. But if the thing about it is, if it changes at some point, you still got to let it be known, hey, this is what the new expectations need to be done. Hey, I need you to do this more because I've been doing this for 6 years.
Hey, I'm just go ahead.
I feel you.
Hey, people say they'll
I'm
move
cooking.
heaven and earth for their kids, then move it.
Yeah.
Move heaven and earth like you
I'm
said
cooking
you
now.
would.
I feel something about this. I'm cooking. I've been doing this for 6 years. So I've been driving an hour and 20 minutes there and back for 6 years. Hey, you drive an hour and 20 minutes back for a couple of weeks. I don't think you're gonna die. I'm still riding.
Right, you ain't got no sympathy for them. Hey, it is what it is. That's why I say bring all the parents to the table. Face-to-face conversations need to happen. We need to get some understanding, some act right, some peace, and some agreeability moving forward, so no one feels jaded, so everyone can do what they got to do amicably to help the child at the end of the day. All right, so let's do that as parents community. Let's not be immature, but let's have maturing conversation. Vic, take us out.
So once again, we are here on Intellectual Radio. This is episode number 9 of Topic of Conversation.
Topic of discussion.
Yeah,
You done?
See that? I wanted all of them to say that. Say it again.
Topic of discussion.
No, topic of discussion. Correct.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was
Once again, this has been another episode of Topic of Discussion Podcast hosted by Intellectual Radio. And we signing out.
Fatherhood at its finest.
Fatherhood
Hey,
at
y'all
its
is
finest.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it under the table.
Now,
Boy, I
you
didn't know what
cooking.
you was
You
doing.
cooking over there, and so
He dropped the pot. He cooked and dropped the pot on his foot. I was like, what?
No, you was good. I mean, you could have said that like that.
You cannot handle this intellect. 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 To mention a third, I savage. Y'all have been working too hard for something that didn't need sacrifice.